Hey guys, welcome back. So today I have my part 2 of everything about my dad. So if you would like to hear the rest of this, then just keep watching. Alright, so if this is the second part that you haven't seen the first part, I would watch the first part first, and then you can come back in and watch the second part. But today I'm going to be talking to you about the part 2. So I'm not going to go a lot of what just watched in the first part because we just watched it. So we're going to go right into the second part. So my dad was obviously going in and out of the hospital for a very long time. I would say from April till a while. And he actually went back to the hospital again on August 26th because he knew there was something wrong. So they went a lot of tests about my dad to figure out what is happening and what's going on that's not going right, because he kept having to go into the hospital, and we wanted to figure out what keeps happening. Like, why does this keep happening about every week, or about every week. He kept having to keep into the hospital because something is not happening correct. And we found out that he was only going to be having 4 to 6 months to live. So you can imagine how hard was that to hear for everybody in my family that my dad only had 4 to 6 months to live. So we all started panicking, and it was a lot. So they said that he had 4 to 6 months to live because his kidneys are failing. And it was confusing because there's just so much going on, and all of these things are happening throughout our life, and it's just like things just keep building up, and it's just like worse and worse and worse every time. So the next day after they told us that we had 4 to 6 months of living, and then the next day we talked to the doctor again, and they saw his numbers and everything, and they said he's going bad really quickly, and it was actually going to be about 4 to 6 days. So that's when we just, like, we all, I think even still, we're all like, I still don't understand. Like, I don't understand what happened. Because all of a sudden we were like fine, and it was like we're talking about, it was my birthday, and we were having dinner, and then the next day he went to the hospital, and everything just started. It was just like, what just happened? What happened? And then we found out that it was 4 to 6 days. My sister and my sister's fiance and my brother obviously came into where we live to stay with us, because obviously this is big that's happening, and we want to be with my dad. So we saw that my dad was failing very quickly. So my sister is getting married, and we thought that was going to be later, but obviously because we figured out that he was not going to be, he's probably going to only have about 4 days. So my sister decided to get married like the next day, because she wanted my dad to be there, and my dad wanted to be there also. So everyone wanted to make sure that my sister was able to get married with my dad there, and walking down the aisle, what is it? So my sister Ashley wanted to make sure that my dad was able to go to the wedding to see so my dad can see him get married. So August 10th is when the wedding was, and they had to do it in the hospital, obviously, because my dad was in the hospital. So we went to the chapel that was in the hospital, and they got married. So I'm going to send pictures and stuff for you guys also, but we wanted to make sure that my dad could see everything that was happening. So we wanted to make sure that my dad saw my sister get married and everything like that. So we were able to do that, and I'm so glad. And so we're all so excited and happy that my dad was able to see that. This part, I have tried to say this like 8 times and I keep messing it up, so I'm just gonna read it. So my brother Morgan pushed the wheelchair while my sister was holding his hand while we were pushing down the aisle. It was so cute. So we were so happy that my dad was able to see my sister get married, and it was great. So after the wedding, my dad said that he's like, I don't want to be here, because we did not want him to die in the hospital. We wanted to be at home with him, so we decided to move from hospice. I think hospice is what it's called. And so the next day we moved out of hospice and we went back home. So it was the best thing we've ever decided, to send him back home and not in the hospital. We were so sick. He was also sick of being in the hospital. We knew this was going to be happening, but we wanted him to be comfortable and wanted to be in with his own home and with his family and my family and our family. We felt so much comfort moving back home and not being in the hospital, because nobody wants to die in the hospital. So we knew it was the right thing to do, and to bring him back home so we could all be with each other and everything like that. So the next day, he was doing all right. He's in and out talking and things like that. But obviously it was extremely hard. I'm sitting there with my dad and my mom, and we're all sitting there next to my dad. And we're always holding them the whole time because we knew we didn't want to let go. We didn't want to do anything. We just wanted to touch him and just be able to hold his hand and things like that. And it was hard because you're seeing. Damn it! I wasn't gonna cry. We knew it's coming, but it was hard because he's still talking us. We're laughing with him and all those things, but sometimes he's in and out, and we were always worried that was when he wasn't gonna come back. But the next day, we had a priest come into our home, and he did the service right with my dad and his family and his friends also, and everyone was with us, and it was great. And the priest was there, and he's giving us communion and all these things, and my dad went to church every single day. In case you guys didn't know that, my dad went to church every single day at 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. So having him come to the home with the priest, it was great. And it was great. And he did end up passing on September 13th. Well, I mean, we knew it was going to come. We knew it was going to be happening. But I mean, obviously it's hard when you have someone that's passing. But it was great that we were able to talk with him, and when we knew it was coming, it was hard. My dad called all of us and leave a message talking to us, so I listen all the time, and this one was obviously for me, but we all got one, and it's just talking us, and we can actually hear his voice and listen everything, and just kind of talk to us about saying it's gonna be okay, I love you, and all these things. I'm not gonna tell you everything because it's personal, but I watch it and listen to it all the time, and just knowing that he's there with me, and it's a lot. So filming this video was pretty hard, and I actually wasn't gonna film it, just because it's very hard to just talk about it in general. So I know life is very hard. I totally, completely agree, and I know that some other people have different problems than I have or than someone else has, but we all need to stick together and love each other and just be as nice as you possibly can, because you never know what's going on with somebody else. So make sure you're always being so nice to everybody, because that it really does. It really helps when you're with happy people and you're with people that are being nice, and it just makes everything feel better, if that makes any sense. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye. I love you, Daddio.